Hello everyone, it's Brian Coy here with my extra credit assignment. I just wanted to test to see how AI could help us with PLC programming and do kind of a deep dive into that today. Now, one of the things I did do, I had it reference our textbook in class. Because a lot of times ChatGPT will just like pick an article from online, and that's not very reliable information, and that gives a lot of students bad information, I think. So I had some parameters for it, because it really needs parameters. Otherwise, it's just an open source and only use online when needed. And you keep programming it with these prompts. The goal here is to show that AI actually can support both classroom learning and real-world industry skills without becoming just a cheating tool or a yes man, or like, someone that like, why even use my brain like ChatGPT? It's like, no. You need to apply what you know with the information that you have. It's just another let's say like this. Like, I have a manual. I upload the whole manual into ChatGPT. It can reference that manual pretty dang good. Um, Also, it's just also to help reduce bad information by guiding it with structured thinking and reliable sources like the textbook. So, what I'm going to show you is not just the final program, but the thinking process behind it. How the questions led me to the solution. But yeah, what further to do? I'm going to show you some chats in this video. I'm going to show you the program. It helped write me with the PLC software. I got some free software here that I'll show you in a minute from the instructor, and I'll show you how all that works and how it instructed me and some of the flaws that it's also had to put me through, because setting this stuff up actually using ChatGPT was not fun. I would have done way better if I just did myself, but I thought this as an experiment. How well would AI do? And let me tell you, some of it is very frustrating. But when it works good, it's great. But when it doesn't, it's not. And we're gonna show you all of it in this video. That AI can be a great tool, and it can be a very annoying tool too. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and let's get right into it. Alrighty, now we got the Socratic method part. So I'm giving you more like a summarized version of this, because this would be like a 2-hour video if I gave you the full chat log of this. Because yeah, it's not the most efficient, I would say. Like, if you know how to do this verbatim and just I would say you're way better off. But I think as a teaching method, I think this is great actually, because it might ask you questions you may have not thought of during the whole process of this, which I do like actually, because hey, it's like, oh, that might be a new angle. It's giving you different angles and perspectives, what's I think that's valuable in itself. So, I asked it this prompt, act like a Socratic tutorial and later use logic, don't get me, and that's because we did it Socratically. Like, you're using your logic and it's challenging you. And yeah. So this right here, I think, is where it gets kind of interesting, because in my other prompt I said I want it to reference the book, and when I do that, it actually puts it into the textbook's questions, because yeah, each chapter there's questions. And so if I have a question on a topic, let's say like these timers or counters, it will give me questions in the form of the textbook format, which is interesting. Or it could even, like, if you take like a picture and say like go to like page 53 on chapter, could put your online book basically in here, which you can, and reference it like, hey, go to page like 50, and then expand on it using the Socratic method with these types of questions, you basically have unlimited practice. Like, it's generating you unlimited practice on this, and I find that the most interesting, honestly, out of all this. Like, I think that's really cool. For this next prompt, I wanted to design like a sprayer that moves car parts through a conveyor, and I did a whole 2-hour chat with this, to see the exact method, because I mean, these are all questions it's generating from my prompts, and I think that's very helpful. And then I would give it an answer. Alright, and then it would give me more questions and go through it Socratically that way. And I think that's very helpful for students. So I gave it like a pretty easy question, like, when should I use a timer instead of like an output? And then I asked it to guide me through that question. And I think it did a pretty decent job. It went through it logically step by step, like the basic, most simple questions that you would automatically think about, or maybe some of them you wouldn't, and it would go down the line of all these questions right here, and be like, yeah, this is why you should use a timer, this is why you should not use a timer, or like, what are you using it for, when are you using it, certain technical errors, I could expand on that. It's helpful. It's also time consuming too. So if you already know and you don't need any of this, like, I think it's good for learning, but the amount of time you would take to ask you these questions, it's time consuming. Could take you like 20 minutes. I mean, look at all these questions and prompts, you went through every single one. So it's good, it will get you to where you need to get, but it is very time consuming. Right here's a good one too. Troubleshooting. I asked, like, what are some things that could help me with troubleshooting in my circuit, to say if it wasn't working properly, and it gave me some basic ones that it could be. But say if I already kind of knew and narrowed it down, it would give me what it thought it was. It wouldn't always be correct, but I know when I was setting up the PLC software, actually, it wasn't correct at all for a long time, and finally gave me a response that did work. But I probably could have found out myself way faster than AI would, because a lot of these troubleshooting, it's like it wasn't even close to what it was actually wrong with it. Experience will always be better than AI, in my opinion. Where if you're very experienced with this, you're gonna blow AI out of the water every time. It's a helpful tool. Don't get me wrong, it is helpful. And again, I think for learning purposes, I think it's pretty good. I think it is pretty good. And I think if you needed a manual handy, instead of just walking all the way over there, you could take pictures and upload it into the AI system, and then you'd have a manual on your phone. I think stuff like that in an industry could be very valuable. This right here is what was causing my system not to work. My emulator would not read my program because it was connected in a cloud storage versus a local storage, and since this is old hardware, it would not work at all, and it was bugging me because it was going through all the other ones besides this one, and it finally got to this one probably after 2.5 hours of me trying to troubleshoot. And I could have done this probably by myself and figured it out that way, but since this was an AI project, I wanted to only see how it troubleshooted, just to see if it was good, and it is not that great at troubleshooting. It gives you out on a general ideas what it can be, and you can go down the list, but this is where experience comes in, and it's alright, this is what it most likely is. Be adamant that it was correct. So troubleshooting, I would say no, AI is not at that great level yet. Like humans are way better at troubleshooting. So, but it gives you a general idea of what could go wrong, and that is useful in itself. But what are limitations, as I have my own thoughts on this, but let's get AI's thoughts on what are some of the limitations. If AI is misunderstanding your setup, could its questions lead you down the wrong path? Absolutely. Absolutely has. And probably will again. Does AI truly understand your specific hardware environment? Most of the time, no, because there's so many little things that it would not pick up on. Say if it has the manual to like one PLC or whatever and the hardwiring, but it might not have the manual and know everything about the robot that you're programming. It definitely doesn't know the programs that are in there. You'd have to upload all that to the AI, and even then, it could misguide you still. So it is not a tool to go off, but it is a very good tool to get instructions from, and then use those instructions to use your own logic. Big one right here, like like I told it to use the textbook, but it would sometimes veer off that, and it's not consistent. And I don't know if there's like a way to make it consistent. Someone who's like better studying on eye could like find a way to make this more consistent, because if this happens and if it's like consistent and it's only sourcing the book, and then you have it be Socratic, that's game changing right there. Again, I don't have the full book into here. I've only have like a few photos, but if it did, yeah, it'd be great. Because like it kind of gives me an idea. Like it kind of does a summarization of the book the way I have it right now, which is alright, but it's not as great as having like a whole book to be able to use the Socratic method right in front of you to just bring up any chapter you want. I think going step by step, even though a lot of it I already kind of like knew what I wanted to do with it, but it asked me like questions every step of the way just to like make sure my logic made sense with that. And you could never be too sure, I guess. It's good to have second, third opinions, and that's what it did. For every step. But yeah, I made like this circuit with ChatGPT. This is the RS500 free version of it, and when we go through it, it will call my subroutine, and the system will run, and from there the configure will run, and the part will stop, and the sprayer will go, and if it detects like a bad part or the paint didn't go back, then like it will go back. Final thoughts, like I feel like it should be in schools with admin moderation. Example, back in the day when the internet was like an open source, open everything, you could find stuff on the front page of the internet that you didn't want your students to see, and like there would be like reports, oh, there was something inappropriate that on the main page that the students saw, and that would happen so frequently. Now it's so like curated. There is an administration where that can't happen anymore. Same thing needs to happen with AI, and I don't know how we get to that point exactly, but that's what needs to happen for it to be in a school environment, like safeguarded from all the bad stuff that it could be, and it needs to be programmed by like an admin to do Socratic thinking, and just have certain prompts that make it way less likely that it would ever give you like a bad article or bad. This has been a great little extra credit. It's been way longer than I thought, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and I think it's been educational for everyone. So yeah, I'll see you on the next